Okay, we're going to do a quick rundown of the tools that I found useful for this metal roofing job. Ladders, lots of ladders. We'll go really quick with this. One way to get up onto the roof after it's done is to put your arms on firmly, and then I put a nice fat lag up into the bottom of a rafter there. A strap to keep the ladder from pushing away from the wall when I set my lightweight padded ladder up onto the roof deck, right down onto one of the rungs here. Pretty comfortable with this because it's a 1-story height, which I just feel like it doesn't feel that scary. I would not do this a lot higher than that because, you know, it's not completely solid once you lay the thing up there. And what if that bolt comes out, etc. But it works well for what it is. Lots of other ladders. So I have 10 footers with pads on them, easy to like put up off the bench, right? Brace the bottom. That one's like a super lightweight 12. Put some foam gasket materials, adhesive stuff onto the one side of it so that when it flexes and touches the roofing, when and if that happens, then we get soft nests. There's a couple of nice ladder mitts up on top. Good to have a lot of ladders. I found you just need a whole bunch of different parts to be able to work your way around. So lots of planks and jacks and that kind of thing are good. Okay, ladder jacks, don't forget those, always useful, lightweight, super easy to set up with an extendable ladder. Okay, hand tools. Let's see, layout tools. We have long, straight edge, your smaller, more precise squares and bevel gauges, a couple of bigger squares. You'll notice when you use a square on the edge of this material, this is not vertical, so if one edge of the square is up a little bit, then your angle changes and it gets, you have to be careful. Made a couple of pieces that are just a specific angle so that I don't have to measure every time. I could just use that piece to make my little folds. Let's see, so for cutting, these are fabulous. The quietest, smoothest, least metal swarf making tool. Shears. They have these little teeth on them. They're totally good. Second, probably gonna get yelled at for this, but little bandsaw is I don't know if somebody else has like a tool that clips through these ribs, but when you clip it with the hand shears, it gets all smushed and it doesn't work well. So I guess somebody probably has a solution other than this. But if you keep this little base right under the metal, nice and quiet, smooth, thing works fabulous for cutting right through those. You make a couple notches and bend it down, then cut it out of the way, and then you can get your shears in there, cut across the panel. And if you're doing a bunch of pieces, eventually your hand starts to get tired. So I've left, right, there's some centers out there somewhere. These are sweet. They're the sort of snipers. They're not as strong, but nice long reach and long cuts. And then benders, we have these guys. Aluminum, a lot less likely to scratch. Very fine point on the edge, hollow in the middle so that you can reach around some things. These guys are really nice because they're soft, also really don't scratch, and they're super flat. When you squeeze them hard, they will crimp the edge of a hem totally flat, and that's really valuable. They also make these in like 6-inch, I think, and these are 6 and 9-inch also. I'm not sure if the 9-inch would really be strong enough for what I'm doing. These are cheap ones. They have a couple of functions. They're not very good for regular use. They're super heavy and they scratch a lot. Random folds and bends, those are useful. A couple of aluminum rulers, right? If you have put a 1-inch mark, like that purple mark right there, so you can put that on one line and then draw your next line so you know the thickness of your hem. All right, hemming tools. We have this one, I think it's made for ducting, Malco. That's an L, right? You can read upside down. Pretty good. I like this one. This came from maybe Fabrol or something. fancy roofing company. Oh, no. So there's that, jsdesignmetaltools.com. This one's nice because you can sort of like figure four your arm around and use your forearm to push on the handle while you use your other two hands to like help make the bend. And you can also, once it's wrapped around, bent down and around, you can hit the top of the handle with a hammer in reverse that way to strike it off. To remove it, because sometimes it's a little sticky. For hammering, this Estwing guy is pretty handy. I like this tool a lot. It's got a nice feeling to it. And if you're doing these weird diagonal bends, there are some cases where you just can't, because of the length, get your hemming tool in there. So I cut this piece of wood, put a bevel on the edge, another piece on the back, and you can kind of clamp this and use it as a bender. Works also well, at least better than not having a tool. And then this guy, basically, you slip this up under the bottom hem of your last panel, and it lifts, or you put it under the cleat under the last panel, and it pushes the cleat up off the eave trim so that when you push your next panel up, it holds the cleat up so that the panel's lip goes under the cleat smoothly and easily. So if you're like me, one person doing this, especially the valleys, or these sheets are like 315 inches up there. It's a lot of effort to push them uphill sometimes, and if it keeps sticking, it could be very frustrating. So that's been a pretty nice tool. And then we have our for conceal fastening, we have some rivets, color match rivets. So do a little drilling and a rivet gun. I would love some sort of battery powered riveter that's basically one-handed. So this is not a one-handed tool, and when I'm like hanging out up at the peak, I need to put a rivet for every course at drill, and it's pretty tiring actually. It makes the legs pretty sore and not the safest thing, and that would save a bunch of energy if I had a one-handed riveter. And that is a pretty good quick review of the tools used here on this job. Alrighty, bye-bye.